as we're getting things started, just waiting for all of you to be notified that we're going live. But I'm super excited. If you're watching this on the replay, we are going to talk about how to become a thriving business. In other words, I'm going to be having an amazing chat with a fellow coach. His name is Renee, and we are going to be discussing who you need to become in order to have a successful business. And we're also going to be doing this by sharing our own personal stories and experiences with it. Because as you guys know, beyond the strategy, beyond, knowing how to do the things and what to do, it really is a spiritual journey that you're going on inside of entrepreneurship. So super excited. Renee's in the room. I'm going to bring him in. All right, waiting for him to come in the room. In the meantime, if you're watching us, oh, there he is. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so excited that we're doing this together. This is so much fun.
Same. I know. I was so happy when, you reached out and you were just getting the ideas flowing. And yeah, Renee and I are super excited to be having this conversation because we know that personal development, spiritual development is so important in your business. Wouldn't you agree, Renee?
Yeah, if not the most important thing, because there's all the strategy stuff and all the things that you need to implement and the technicalities. But if you don't believe in yourself and when you don't do the work in yourself, then those things don't really work, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people think it's like, oh, if I just have the strategy and I know how to market. But what we're really seeing in the new paradigm is like, if you ignore these inner parts of you, it's going to show up at some point. I know, that's even happened to me on some levels.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I hope that this is also for all the people watching. This is just for us to share our experiences, and we just want you to feel inspired, and maybe you're stuck somewhere and you're like, oh, that's how they did it. So this is all for your growth, and I'm all for it.
Yes. So wait, before we dive in, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself. Like, who are you? What do you do?
Yes, I'm Renee. I'm a business coach. I'm living in Bali. I'm actually in the Netherlands right now doing a little Europe tour. And I'm just all about personal development, living a free life. I'm having, I don't know. I don't even know how I created this life for myself, but I have a lot of freedom and a lot of spare time. And that's what makes me happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you catch yourself? Sometimes I'll just be sitting at the beach and I'm like, wow, I created this. There are people stuck in a cubicle right now.
I know, yeah. Oh, this is my at the beach or at a beautiful location. Oh, this is my office. Let me do a live stream. Let me record a video. It's the best job in the world.
Yes. And with that, it takes a certain amount of that inner success journey, that personal development to really create that business that has allowed us this time freedom and location freedom. I mean, the fact that you're in the Netherlands right now, I'm in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So I think that all of you that are watching, you're going to get a lot from watching this, because even if you're already on this journey, there are some golden nuggets here that you may realize oh, wow, I really see it from a different perspective, and really allow you to integrate that so that you can take what you need and apply it to your business, so you can call in more clients and have more sales and just feel more aligned in general.
Yeah, and love your life more.
Yes, because at the end of the day, what are we doing if we're not enjoying our life? Beyond the money and everything, it's really about us being content and just enjoying this ride.
Thanks, Regina. I'm curious,
Yeah.
Regina, to hear from you. What is one of the things that you really needed to work on getting to the point where you are right now?
Yes, thank you for asking this. So the first one that I want to talk about is I had to create discipline. I had to become a disciplined person. And I talk a lot about this on my platform, but I really see that as setting a masculine structure, strategy container in order for my creativity, the feminine energy of being and flowing in alignment, in order for that kind of energy to thrive. So what that has looked like for me is really being disciplined in those practices that help me create awareness. And I know you've dabbled with you're also an expert in meditation and all of those practices. It's funny, but I tell all my clients that, like, you have to be meditating every single day if you truly, right? Like you do, because it's those moments where you're seeing that difference between the ego, the soul, the fear-based you versus, you know, the passionate, aligned, you know, just showing up creative portal. So yeah, without the discipline, like waking up early, committing to meditating, committing to doing breath work, even though when I don't feel like it, and movement, and has really allowed me to like become more aware, which then has a huge effect on everything else that I do.
I love that. I love, you know, maybe also the word discipline is like, oh, discipline sounds so rigid, but also how beautiful you're sharing it. Like, no, it's the parts that I know will really help me show up as my best self every day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always say too, like, and I'm not the first one to say this, but discipline does equal freedom. It's like we could just sit there and like wait for like, you know, inspiration to hit or to feel that thing, but we have to create a structure in order for that to happen.
I love that. I love that. And also like meditation, yeah, for me as well, it's a daily practice. Even, you know, maybe sometimes feeling the pressure, like I need to do it at least an hour a day. No, I just do it 10 minutes right after I wake up in the morning, and it's helping me throughout the day, right? But it's just this consistency of having it come back every day, knowing that when I do so, that I feel more at ease during the day, I feel less stressed, I feel more focused, right? Going to the gym is a good one for me, the 3 times in a week. Even if I don't feel like going, I go and I feel incredible after. It's like, yeah, this is what puts me in my high state, in my high frequency.
Exactly. You get
Yeah.
me. Yeah. And it doesn't mean, you know, for those of you watching, you have to like wake up at 5 a.m. and like run a marathon. It's going to be different for you depending on who you are. But the point is find the thing that works for you, that helps you enter a higher state of consciousness and commit to it.
Yeah.
Would
Find
you
your
agree?
medicine. Yes.
Yes. But yeah, what about you, Renee? What do you feel like is your like your one or the first thing that has helped you really become who you need to be for your business?
Yeah, I think it's really like overcoming fears for me, like the fear of being seen, the fear of like stepping up and afraid of what people are going to think about me, being afraid of judgment. And even though these fears are there, just still like pushing through. I remember 3 years ago, I was going to do my first live stream online on social media. And I was like with this trembling finger in front of the go live button. I'm like, really? Am I going to do it? And I pressed it. And I think the first 30 seconds I was just doing breath like live in front of the audience. But it's just like, I don't know, it's scary, but it also almost forces me to be authentic, because it's impossible to be inauthentic if it doesn't feel scary for me. So pushing myself through these boundaries and really, yeah. Tomorrow I'm gonna go on stage here in this town for over 200 people, and it's so scary, but I'm also so excited, and I know that that's the way forward for me to also show myself to a bigger audience. But it's still
Yeah,
scary. Yeah.
of course. I'm laughing because your story about going live, I'm like, yep, been there. And when people look at us now and we're so comfortable, but we had to start at the beginning too. And it's so like, of course, we have to understand that we're going to have fears, we're going to have limiting beliefs at the beginning, especially in the industry that we're in, right? Like, we are choosing to be very public, putting our stories out there, being vulnerable, open. And I definitely know, just reflecting off what you said, for me too, like I would not be here if I would have, you know, succumbed to the fear and said like, nope, it's just too much, I can't move, right? And that happens
Yeah.
to so many people. Like they don't take action because the fear is too overwhelming.
Yeah, and one other thing which is beautiful, which you just shared about the, you know, we also had this day where we did our first live stream and it was scary. And now people might see us and they're like, oh, they're so comfortable on camera. And knowing people that have the same fear, like, oh, I will never be as good as them. But we were never this good as we are now because we started at day one, right? So this is an invitation for all of you. Just try it out and you'll get better along the way.
Yes, and something that was coming through while you're saying that too is, even as, and I'm sure you're going to relate this too, even as the journey has continued on, fear is still here. We've just learned how to continuously meet those edges anyway. And it becomes easier, guys. Like it becomes easier as you go on the journey because you see the outcome of you trusting your gut and doing it even though you're scared, right?
Yeah. And that it's that there's a reward behind it. And it doesn't have to be an external reward, like getting a new client, which is nice, but it's mostly like an internal reward, like, oh my God, I did it. Like, and then feeling like proud that you pushed yourself through the resistance and the fear.
Exactly. But at the beginning, you have to like leap without the proof. And I think
Yeah.
that's such a big thing, right? It's like, no, well, we don't know if, you know, that maybe your first $10,000 investment is going to yield results, but you're trusting in the feeling that's gotten you to that decision in the first place, and then taking the leap anyway. And I know we've done big, scary things like that, investing in ourselves. I mean, what else was really like scary for you at the beginning?
Investing was a big one, like hiring my first ever business mentor for $30,000. I was like, really? Am I going to do this? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But the thing that really helped me was, yes, it's a shit ton of money, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it back, but I believe that with the mission that I'm on and what I'm trying to build in this world, is that worth $30,000? If it works, I'm like, hell yeah. And I learned so much in the process, and it's gonna serve me for the rest of my life, right? It's not a one-time investment, see if it works for a month and then it's gone. No, it's all knowledge and experience, and yeah.
Infinite ROI.
Infinite ROI. I love that. Yeah, you should coin
True.
that.
Yeah. So everyone, if you're feeling scary, just know it is a major part of stepping in and becoming the next version of you.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And we started also with you sharing about discipline and things that you really call into your life that help you play at a high level. What do you think about embodiment?
Yes. Yeah. So embodiment is definitely, if I were my top three things that have helped serve me in becoming this version of me, embodiment is such a huge one. And a lot of times people are like, what is even embodiment? I like to explain it from this like energetic healing perspective. And to me, embodiment is, without going on a super long tangent, it's basically feeling your fears and stuck energy and your limitations in your physical body, your spiritual body, and your emotional body. So, in other words, it really requires doing shadow work. It requires being in your body. It requires actually like feeling to heal. And so for me, it's very connected to the fear, right? So like my initial fear of like showing up and being seen, I had to do a lot of shadow work and emotional processing in my actual body. So feeling like, okay, where is that fear like emanating from? Ooh, I feel it in my stomach. Like, oh, that's connected to my solar plexus, my source of power. There's a part of me that's not fully stepping into my power, right? So then me doing the work to feel it, heal it through different modalities too, like light language, sound healing, like working with different witches and healers, because you know it takes a fucking village, right, Renee? But essentially, like really witnessing myself in that, allowing myself to feel it, and then transmuting it. And to me, that is then embodiment, because once we move that stuck energy, it's almost like we stand a little taller. We roll our shoulders back. We have like ingrained that code, and now we can show up from higher truth. That to me is embodiment.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love how you share it. I can even feel it, the way you move through it. I see this path as well. For me, the embodiment, I think, was more around, I mean, it's kind of the same, just like the witnessing and to sit still in discomfort. Like something's going on, something's not going right. And instead of distracting myself or going to do something else, I'm going to sit with this. What am I feeling? Oh my God, this feels so uncomfortable. I want to go read a book, or I want to go watch a movie. No, I'm going to sit with it. And then just being with it. And then it dissipates and then it's gone. Instead of you ignore it, you run away from it, and then it shows up the next day, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah. Well, it's you giving space, right, to feel. And I think in our society, it's so easy for you to ignore that, right? Like you just said, there's Netflix, there's this, like so many distractions. But then if you just simply do that, you just show up in that higher light. Like there's a reason why people are like, damn, she's so embodied. It's because, or they're in their body. They're not running away from it. They're
yeah,
choosing to feel it, be with it. So
yeah.
powerful. God.
They're standing strong. They're standing strong. They're like firm. They look steady. They look safe, right? They look calm, even if like everything's on fire. It's like, I'll be fine. Like I'm safe. I'm safe in myself because we did that kind of work.
Yep, exactly. And
Mm.
of course, it's a continue process as you reach new fears. It's like, okay, new lesson to integrate and come and feel and heal. It is a constant practice. I tell people that all the time. Like, this path really is not to scare anyone, but it really is not for those who aren't like willing to do the work. And high work, but it also, high rewards as well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a never-ending thing. And like you said, when you move through certain emotions or blocks or things that you really struggle with, or old patterns or habits or beliefs that are not serving you, but if you move through them once, at least sometimes you might have that it comes back easily, but it's once you learn to go through one specific gate, then you're going to be presented with a new gate, like another challenge. But then
Mm-hmm.
it I don't want to say it becomes easier, but you become more used to it. Like, oh yeah, there's something here. There's something coming up for me right now. Okay, yeah, okay. That means I need to sit. I need to slow down. I need to give it time, and then you move through. So the process looks quicker to me.
Yeah, which then ties back to the initial point I was talking about is discipline. That's when we have to really be disciplined and committed. And yeah, those practices like meditation and everything help you with the process. They're all interconnected.
Everything.
Yeah, but Renee, what was your second thing that you felt like helped you become this version of you?
Yeah. I think it's all around like seeing my own value and seeing that I'm good at what I'm doing, and regardless of what I'm doing, but that I'm just good as a person, and just seeing that I'm worthy. I think, and that is like a really old belief, like from childhood, right? Like, oh, I'm not good enough. I need to do all these extras. I need to be more funny, more loud. I need to be smart. I need to do all these things, because if I don't, then people will not love me or like me, or people will push me out. And especially the last 5 6 years, when I went on a high speed spiritual journey, that's when I noticed, like, oh my god, I'm doing all these external things to feel loved, or to feel accepted, or to feel good enough in myself. And the moment I started doing less and less, the more like I feel less tired, I feel more energized, I feel more like, I can just be myself here. I can like sit here with a tea and take 3 seconds and take a sip, instead of I need to deliver, I need to do all these things, right? So I think just seeing my own value, and that also translates back into running a business, like how much money you're comfortable with charging, and do you feel that the money that you're charging, is that a match for the value that you're delivering, but also is it matching how you value yourself? Because if there's a mismatch, then that will not work out.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points. And one that really resonated with me was the like root of all of this. And it is that not enough narrative that exists within all of us. I think it's like one of the most pervasive limiting beliefs. And like you said, it often comes from childhood, but it runs so deep. And so as you go on that like self-love healing journey, it, like you said, it directly translates to your business. It affects like how you show up, how you're giving information, the prices that you charge. And I have found too, Renee, I don't know if you've experienced this too, but like, obviously your evolution, you raise your prices, you're serving higher level clients. And so for me, it's been a revisit of the not enough story, and it's like different layers every time I'm seeing that, like doing that evolution in my business. So every time I'm like, okay, I want to charge, this higher amount for my VIP one-on-one versus what I was doing before. And then I have to kind of go in and see that story again, and what is ready to come out this time.
Yeah, because I love that you brought it up, because there's like the desire to like go higher, charge more, also seeing that you're delivering more, or the quality goes up of your program, but then doing a little check-in with yourself, like, does that feel right? Does it feel good?
Yeah, right. And then of course it's probably going to bring up fear, but tying back to your first point. This is what I mean. Like they're all so interconnected, but these these different elements of spiritual development are really, like, I think, the foundation for everything, right? Like, for your business to succeed. It's like, yeah, I mean, we'll do a wrap up at the end, but yeah, so believing in your own value, I love that. What about your third point?
I wrote down perseverance, which I think also ties into your discipline in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keeping on going, and you know, I know so many entrepreneurs. I started 3 years ago, and I know so many entrepreneurs in my friend group. So I heard, of course, the stories like it's challenging, it's a personal development journey, it's so hard at times, right? And I knew that mentally, but being in it for 3 years, it's like they couldn't be more right. It was even an understatement. It's like, woo. Yeah, but then, you know, and I don't know if that resonates with you, but I had quite a lot of moments when I'm like, maybe this is not for me. Maybe it's not for me. I don't know if this is good for me. Why am I doing this? It's so hard. But then just sitting with it, and then the next day, it's like, yep, I'm in. Next program, next offer, next thing I'm gonna create. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm relating to this hardcore. And by the way, I'm a little distracted. There's like a baby yelling outside my window and construction that my neighbor's doing. Hopefully it's not coming across for all of you guys.
I don't hear anything, so.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, technology. No, it's, of course, your third point is perseverance, because I put my third point as surrender and devotion. So same fucking thing. This path is not easy. It is a constant surrender to the unknown, trusting the universe, of course, after you've done the work. It's not like you're just sitting on the couch waiting for life to happen. And that devotion, and this comes up a lot, like in my mastermind and with you know, my other clients in UCB and even one-on-one, like I'm always telling them, like, yes, this is a constant devotion. It's a devotional practice, because of course, just like you, there have been so many times where I'm like, fuck this, I'm just gonna go up and live in a log cabin and just play my ukulele the whole day. Like, it has been so confronting. So like, it really is the test of your ultimate commitment, especially in the long-term game. Wouldn't you agree? Like, I mean, you're in this for the long term too, right, Renee? Like, we're not going anywhere.
At least that's what I keep telling myself. No, yes, I'm in this for the long run, because I also see it as that business. Like, I've been a freelancer for 5 years, and the last 3 years as an entrepreneur, completely different thing, because it becomes an extension of who you are and your identity, right? It's like how I show up in my own life outside of the screen here. I want that to be exactly the same thing. Like, there's no difference between Renee that's here, like in a live stream with you, Regina, being a business coach, and the Renee that's out there on the street, like chatting with people. Like, I want that to be the same person. And I forgot what point I was trying to make, but I think that's a healthy thing to do, instead of having this separation there. But also coming back to what you shared, being in it for the long haul, it's, you know, sometimes things don't really work out in the way that you expected. And that's something that I really had to learn, because there's like an expectation and you work really hard for it and you put a lot of hours and a lot of energy in it. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And I think those are the moments when you either need to, I call it perseverance, you call it surrendering into like, hey, everything will be fine. And just like moving on and saying, yeah, I'm going to do the next thing, and not giving up. And I think when you are able to be in that kind of energy, then being successful and whatever vision you have, Regina, for yourself, it will come. It's just going to take time. It might not be tomorrow. But if you keep doing that, there's no doubt that you're going to get there.
Yeah, and to add on top of that, there is no doubt that you're going to get there, because also this is non-linear. Like, it is, guys, it is like this. It is a fucking roller coaster. Like, I'm sure you've experienced this too. Like, I've had $40,000 months, and then I've had like a $6,000 month, and then I've had this amazing sold out launch, and then like only 2 people came in the door. But when you look at it overall, there's growth there. There's growth. And so if you stay committed, you persevere, right? It's not for everyone. It really isn't. I mean, I think for me, what keeps me in that commitment and this devotion is, and I'm sure you're gonna relate this to, Renee, is because I'm so connected to my why and to my heart. And I just would never see me going back to what I was doing before. Like it's just not even an option for me.
Yeah, it's like the once you see something, you cannot unsee it, right? And once you feel something in yourself, I had that same feeling, like I have a purpose now in this life. Really, I wasn't really looking for it, but then it came to me, and I'm like, this is incredible. And then it doesn't matter, like that it's like this. It's like I'm doing it for something and for someone. And if I can only even doing this live stream, if I know that I only touched one person today, like I'm happy. I'm so happy that I was able to help someone. Right? And that makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, so potent. So yeah, I'm gonna, for if you're watching the replay or watching live, I think we could do a little summary here, but is there anything else coming through before we like wrap up and just kind of summarize?
No, I'm just curious to see also the people who are live here or watching the replay if they can drop their questions, and yeah, we can do a little summary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. We'll open up to questions. Does anyone have any questions about anything we've been talking about the spiritual development path in entrepreneurship, anything at all? There are no silly questions. Pop them in the chat. We're here for them. Yes, even if you're just joining us. So while we're maybe waiting for some questions, just to kind of review for those who maybe just popped in, but Renee and I have basically been discussing who you need to become in order to be successful in your business. And we've been discussing this through the lens of our own personal stories. So we've each shared 3 things that we felt we've had to become in order to really thrive. And this topic that we're talking about today really applies to any part of your journey, whether you're at the beginning or you already crossed the 6-figure mark and you're like thriving. It's just that beautiful reminder of what this journey is actually about. So if you have any questions about this, drop them in the chat. We'll wait a little bit longer and see if any of you have any questions. We're getting some more like energy in the room now as we're wrapping up, of course.
Exactly. Oh, more people are joining now at the end, huh?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, anything you want to say, Renee, before, like, while we're waiting?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Maybe I just want to run through like in a little recap, like my 3 points, and maybe we can do the same because I see some people joined and they're like, "Oh my God, I missed the main live." But thank you for the summary of what we talked about. But for me, the 3 points that I really felt like I had to either step into or pay like a lot of attention to as I was growing. One is overcoming the fear of being seen, and that's both online and offline, like really daring to step up and like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and I stand for what I believe in, and really being vulnerable with that, right? Like being seen in it. And that was really something scary for me, and it's an ongoing process, but I feel like that really helped me to like get on my mission, which led me to being here as well in the live stream. It's like, yeah, let's do a live stream together. Number 2 was believing in my own value. So that means like really feeling that I'm worthy, that I'm valuable. Also even like translating it into business, like what are the amounts of money that I can charge and that I feel comfortable with charging because I believe in my value. And number 3 is perseverance. It's not an easy route being an entrepreneur, but just keep going. Know that it sometimes doesn't make any sense at all. And Regina said it's like this, like we go up and down, and just surrender to those waves and know that if you average it out over your time span, that you are growing and you are heading for more success, more happiness, more life. Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Renee. Yes, so I will also summarize my 3 points of who I felt I had to become or what I needed to, step into in order to create this business that I've created. I love it. We're getting lots of people saying they resonate. We even had like some questions come through. So feel free to drop your questions while I do my summary, and then we'll circle back to them. So my 3 things. 1, I had to create discipline. Discipline equals freedom. In other words, create the masculine container to hold my beautiful feminine creative energy. And I found this so important through my practices where I had to have to show up even when I don't feel like it. So meditating, embodiment practices, right? Like moving my body, whatever it is for you as well. It's going to be different for everyone. But that discipline, specifically through those practices, has helped me gain greater awareness. And I truly believe having awareness is the key to your spiritual path, to your entrepreneurial path. So that was the first one. Second one was I had to become embodied. And we had a really great explanation, and Renee and I both shared what embodiment means to us earlier in the live. So if you're watching the replay, scroll back and check that out if you need a little recap, or if you're just joining us now, you can watch it in the replay. But essentially, it's this premise of really feeling my limitations in my physical, spiritual, and emotional body. So really doing shadow work, the inner work, to feel it so that I could transmute it, and then stand taller in who I am and how I'm here to show up and who I'm here to serve. So that was the second one. And then the third one, same thing as Renee, but just in my own way, is it's the constant act of surrendering in devotion. So this is not an easy path, really surrendering once you've done the work, really handing it over to spirit in many ways, and just trusting that you are enough, and then being devoted to this path, because it is not for everyone. Going to shake you, break you, make you cry, but it's also going to have you living in your purpose and creating a fucking dream life. So you have to be willing to walk through the fire.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful. So yeah, if you have any questions now that we've kind of gone through the summary, feel free to drop them in the chat. I do see one question that I'd love for us to answer here, Renee. So Holistically Digestible asks, how do you think you add value to this new earth? Ooh, this is a good question.
Great question. Great question. And I love the question because it's also a beautiful reflection on like why am I doing things I do the way that I do them? What is the reason behind it? And I think the reason I mentioned purpose a little while ago in this live stream, that I feel like I've come to a purpose. Like I truly believe that helping other people grow, and you can do that in a million different ways, whether it's being an inspiration, whether it's for me like doing my own personal growth work, doing a presentation in front of a lot of people. I'm going to be, regardless if whatever I say on the stage tomorrow, people are going to be touched because they're like, oh my God, I want to be on stage too, right? Mission complete. So I think what I'm adding to this new earth is me expanding myself and going into the realms of discomfort and fear, and I'm growing myself, and in that process touching other people and inspiring other people to do the same. Yeah, so that's it for me. What about you?
Yes. No, actually, literally, as you're saying that, I'm like, same. And what was coming through was being a trailblazer, right? So choosing to be a new earth leader to me means choosing to walk through the fire in the dark, because it may be that you're like the first one going through it. That is what being a trailblazer is. But by you choosing to go on the journey to heal yourself, to feel, to be that, then you get to pass on that wisdom to others, and then you do the same, and it becomes this like ripple effect. And one thing I'll mention too is I don't think there's just a set number of leaders and then that's capped. It's like, those are the leaders of New Earth. Like, I truly believe we are all New Earth leaders, and we are just influencing each other at the different stages of the journey that we're at, right? So just the way that we have mentors that influence us and that inspire us, we then get to be that for other people, and then those people get to be that for other people, and so on and so forth. So same as you, I think by walking the path so courageously and being brave and being able to go there, like, guys, I was the first one in my circle of friends at university to do anything like this. People were like, what the fuck is coaching? Like, what are you doing, right? Like, I had to go through it even though I didn't know anyone, or like what the fuck I was doing too. And I'm sure you'll relate to that in many ways as well. So just this reminder that I feel if you are being courageous and choosing to, go down this path where you're being called, you are adding to New Earth simply by doing it.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. I even get like so much excitement in my body when you share all this. Yeah, trailblazer. I
Same.
love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Same. It's
It
so
doesn't make
exciting.
sense sometimes, you know, and um I'm in the Netherlands here. A lot of people that I know here, I started becoming an entrepreneur in Bali, so I've become such a different person, sort of. I've grown so much in these 3 years while I was living in Bali. So connecting back with people here, they're sometimes even like, I don't know what you're doing, but you look so happy and it seems like you're doing great, but I don't know, what do you do? And I explain it to them. They're like, they either say like, oh, I could never do that, and then usually I like to pinch a bit like, oh, why do you think you can't do it? So it's a beautiful opportunity for me to also inspire people to step up and create their own. I think having a business is just, what kind of life do you want to have, right? How do you want to earn your money? You can choose. You don't have to work in the office. You don't have to work like a regular job. If you have a passion, or if you have something that you feel like you can bring to the world, then you can turn that into a business. And then how beautiful. That's like you and me, Regina. It's like, really, I'm earning money by inspiring people, supporting them, and teaching them, sometimes even like how I live my life. And they're like, oh my God, I want to try the same thing. Like, it's such a beautiful way to take care of ourselves. It's incredible. It's beyond
Mhm.
words. Yeah.
And to me, like that is New Earth. It's us choosing to follow the passion, follow what lights us up, and know like there can be a business out of it. It can be profitable and it can be exciting. And like you said, like I show up and I'm like, holy shit, I get to like do what I would do for free and get paid for it, like a lot of money. Like what a blessing, what a blessing. But if there's anything you've learned from this whole live, if you're watching, is even though it is a blessing, it does require commitment, and it requires you to be not fearless. I don't like to say fearless, but willing. It requires you willingness for sure.
Yeah. I'm also curious because more and more people are hopping on. I see, like, if you watch the live stream, you heard our summary or the points that we touched upon. Like, what is one of the biggest key takeaways for the people that watch? Like, what was most helpful? What
I love
inspired you the
that.
most? Yeah.
Yes, drop it in the chat. What was your biggest takeaway as we're wrapping up here? Even if you just heard like a little snippet, what is something that you're walking away with this from this live with? And if you're watching
Yeah.
the replay, drop it in the comments. Let me know.
Yeah.
I love hearing from you. I think Renee, you'll agree too. Like, we love interacting. This isn't just like watch us talk. Like, drop in the comments. We want to hear from you. What was your biggest takeaway, or just something that this has, created greater awareness for you?
Yeah. And as other people are sharing their key takeaway, I would love to share my key takeaway. And it's also like the interaction between you and me, Regina, like sharing about our journey. And we did a little bit of homework to like write down our points, and we write down very similar things but in different words. And also just like feeling so seen and supported by you as well, and knowing that you've also gone on this journey and you've also had moments where you're like, oh, like, I don't know about this, and knowing that we're like trailblazing together, like that feels really good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, you're such a great mirror, and I feel like there was so much overlap in what we were sharing today. And yeah, it's just a beautiful reminder of like, we're not alone.
I see some people share as well. I just want to take the time. Holistically digestible. I feel like New Earth is becoming more conscious and connected to the ecologies that keep us alive. It's about creating reciprocity. Reciprocity is a difficult word for me. With all beings, not just humans. Yeah, I love that. And people
Yeah, I
feeling
feel like
inspired.
yeah, and I feel like what holistically digestible said too is like, I mean, there could be a whole live on even just that. Like we're zooming out. So thanks for bringing that. I'm like, maybe we have an idea for another live. Kendall's feeling inspired. Yes, be brave. Leonard, this live is gold. So exciting. Yes, if you're just joining us, please go and watch the replay. I'll post it probably later today.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would love to see the earth more from New Earth leaders. Yes, feel
Mm-hmm.
you on that one.
Yeah.
Allison, stepping into the fear of being seen. I'm in it. Oh, yes.
Go and be seen. Go show yourself. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You have all the tools, all the experience already to touch people's lives. You just need to go and show yourself fully, authentically. And that's scary as hell, but that is what it's all about as well, I feel.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love all these shares. If anyone else is feeling called to share just any of their biggest takeaways or anything that's on their heart, maybe they felt inspired, now's the time as we prepare to wrap up. This has been so fun. I can't believe it's been like over 45 minutes. This has gone by so
Oh, did
fast.
we? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was really fun. We should do this more
Yeah.
often,
It goes
definitely.
by fast when we're like in the flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, beautiful.
Amazing. All right. Well, Renee, well, maybe while people are dropping in their last takeaways, if you want to just share with people how, yeah, like anything, if there's any projects coming up and how they can find you.
Yeah, so I think the thing that I'm most passionate about right now is I know that there's a lot of new entrepreneurs coming. So I actually recorded a really cool masterclass for people, for newer entrepreneurs or people that are not yet selling like a 2K package. And I recorded a free masterclass for that. So I'll teach them the three most critical steps for them to start selling a 2K package online, which is incredible because you can do that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I just want to help people and make sure that they get started with their business in a healthy way. So if they want to check that out, they can just go to my profile in the link in my bio, and then it should be there. So I would love to give that as well to this audience.
Beautiful. And is the best place for them to connect with you on Instagram, or are there any other platforms?
Yeah, Instagram is best. Yeah, at I am 𝘗𝙗𝗏𝘆. I think they can click on me, but if somehow something happens, just search for I am 𝘗𝙗𝗏𝘆. Then you'll find 𝘗𝙗𝗏𝘆 business coach in Bali, and then you can follow me and also access my links.
Beautiful. So yeah, go check out Renee. He's incredible, especially if you're at the beginning of your journey. And then for those of you who are already in this New Earth community, just know that right now there's so many ways to plug and play. Like I have my new 2-week burst experience lit up that's starting next week. Early bird is only going to be on for a couple more days, but it's really about re-energizing your business. We're halfway through the year. This is about reconnecting to spirit, to source. Like, how do we actually co-create with spirit and see how we want to show up next? It's basically going to be one giant party. Tons of more information on that. Just go to the link in my bio. Then I also have a couple of VIP one-on-one spots open, as well as a retreat coming up to the Amazon rainforest in October. So if you are interested in working together and coming into this vortex, just go to the link in my bio. There's like so much in there. There's also freebies. I have tons of free trainings on YouTube, and I will be starting a podcast soon. And I'm like, Renee, I'm like, I think you're going to have to come on the podcast.
I would be honored.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up, Renee?
Thank you for all the people joining and leaving your replies and comments and ideas. And also, if you watch the replay, definitely also drop #replay. Then we know that you're still watching. And if you have any questions, if you want to get in touch with Regina, just send her a DM. Don't be a stranger. And same goes for me. Just send me a DM. I'm checking multiple times a day. So I would love to interact with people. I love that.
Yes, our DMs are open. You guys have been incredible. Again, thank you, as Renee said, for being here, for choosing to show up. It's not a coincidence why you decided to watch this. So sending you guys all so much love into your beautiful Thursday. I was like, what day is it? And we'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.